In the early days of the UFC, the idea of women competing in the octagon was unthinkable. Dana White, the brash and visionary president of the organization, famously declared that women would never fight in the UFC. It was a bold stance rooted in the male-dominated culture of mixed martial arts, MMA, at the time. Yet, life has a way of defying such absolutes. Within a few short years, White would not only reverse his position, but also champion one of the most transformative figures in combat sports history, Ronda Rousey. Her meteoric rise reshaped the UFC, shattered stereotypes, and paved the way for a new era of women's MMA. This is the story of Rousey's journey, a tale of triumph, pressure, and the unrelenting weight of fame. The making of a pioneer. Ronda Rousey was born on February 1st, 1987, in Riverside, California, under circumstances that foreshadowed her resilience. At birth, the umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck, nearly costing her life. The incident left her with a speech impediment that persisted until she was 6, requiring years of therapy to overcome. From the start, Rousey's life was a fight, and her family played a crucial role in shaping her tenacity. Her mother, Maria DeMars, was a trailblazer in her own right, the first American woman to win a world judo championship in 1984. DeMars saw sports as a path to empowerment and introduced Ronda to judo at a young age, setting the stage for her daughter's extraordinary career. Growing up, Ronda was no stranger to adversity. She trained alongside boys, often losing and returning home in tears after grueling sessions. Yet, these early setbacks forged an unbreakable spirit. Her mother's unorthodox coaching methods, sparring with Ronda in hallways to prepare her for the intensity of competition, instilled a mantra of readiness. Always be ready, DeMars would say, a lesson that would define Ronda's approach to both judo and MMA. By age 17, Ronda had qualified for the 2004 Athens Olympics, becoming the youngest judoka at the event. That same year, she claimed the Junior World Championship and U.S. National Championship, marking the beginning of a decorated career. Rousey's judo accolades piled up: 3 consecutive Judo World Cup victories, 2006 to 2008, and a bronze medal at the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Yet, despite her global success, financial stability remained elusive. After her Olympic bronze, the U.S. Olympic Committee awarded her $10,000, which was taxed down to $6,600, hardly enough to sustain a living. To make ends meet, she worked as a bartender, a humbling contrast to her status as a world-class athlete. By 2008, Rousey's judo career had reached its peak, and she began to look elsewhere for her next challenge. MMA, a fledgling sport with few female competitors, beckoned. A star is born: Rousey's MMA Ascent. In 2010, women's MMA was a niche within a niche. The sport lacked the visibility and infrastructure of its male counterpart, and opportunities for female fighters were scarce. Rousey, however, saw potential where others saw barriers. Armed with her Olympic-level judo skills and an unyielding drive, she began her transition to MMA with light training and an amateur debut in August 2010. Her amateur career was a whirlwind: 3 fights, 3 armbar submissions, each in under a minute. By January 2011, she was ready to turn professional. Rousey's professional debut came in March 2011 at King of the Cage, KOTC, where she dispatched her opponent with her signature armbar in just 25 seconds. A second win in June at Hard Knocks Fighting Championship, HKFC, solidified her reputation as a phenom. Her rapid finishes and relentless style caught the eye of Strikeforce, a leading MMA promotion at the time. On August 12, 2011, Rousey made her Strikeforce debut, submitting Sarah DeLilio in under a minute. 3 months later, she faced Julia Budd, another victim of the armbar, again in under a minute. The armbar became Rousey's calling card, a weapon that seemed unstoppable. By 2012, Rousey was a rising star, but her biggest test awaited. On March 3rd, she faced Miesha Tate in the main event for the Strikeforce Bantamweight Championship. Tate, a seasoned fighter with a strong wrestling background, was expected to challenge Rousey's dominance. Yet, Rousey's judo prowess proved too much. In the first round, she secured a brutal armbar, forcing Tate to tap and claiming the title in her 5th professional fight. At just 25, Rousey was the undisputed champion of Strikeforce, the UFC's top rival, and her star was about to shine even brighter. Breaking barriers, Rousey joins the UFC. Rousey's success in Strikeforce forced Dana White to reconsider his stance on women in the UFC. Her charisma, skill, and marketability were undeniable, and White saw an opportunity to revolutionize the sport. In November 2012, he signed Rousey as the first female fighter in UFC history, allowing her to carry her Strikeforce title into the organization. Overnight, she became the face of the newly created UFC Women's Bantamweight division, ranked number 1 without ever fighting in the octagon. It was a historic moment, one that shattered the glass ceiling White had once declared impenetrable. Rousey's UFC debut came on February 23, 2013, at UFC 157, where she faced Liz Carmouche in the first women's fight in UFC history. The event was a cultural milestone, drawing massive attention to the sport. Rousey delivered, submitting Carmouche with, you guessed it, an armbar in the first round. The crowd erupted, and the fight lived up to its hype, proving that women could headline major events. Rousey's star power soared, and she quickly became a global phenomenon, transcending MMA to grace magazine covers, talk shows, and Hollywood films. Over the next 2 years, Rousey defended her title 6 times, each victory more dominant than the last. Her fights were spectacles, often ending in seconds as opponents fell to her armbar or succumbed to her improved striking. She faced top contenders like Miesha Tate, again, Sarah McMahon, and Alexis Davis, dispatching them with ruthless efficiency. By 2015, Rousey was not just a fighter, but a cultural icon, starring in movies like The Expendables 3 and Furious 7, appearing on The Ellen DeGeneres Show, and securing lucrative sponsorships. Her influence extended beyond the octagon, inspiring a generation of female athletes and redefining the role of women in combat sports. The cost of fame, cracks in the armor. Rousey's ascent was meteoric, but the weight of fame began to take its toll. The constant media scrutiny, grueling training camps, and pressure to remain invincible created a perfect storm. Rousey herself admitted to feeling disconnected from her own life, as if her success belonged to someone else. The adoration of fans and the UFC's marketing machine painted her as untouchable, a myth she began to believe. She spoke boldly, even suggesting she could compete with male fighters, a claim that fueled her larger-than-life persona but also set unrealistic expectations. Meanwhile, the sport was evolving. Women's MMA, once dominated by Rousey alone, welcomed new talents like Valentina Shevchenko, Amanda Nunes, and Holm. These fighters brought diverse skill sets, boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, that challenged the judo-centric approach Rousey had relied on. Yet, Rousey's game plan remained static, centered on her armbar and aggressive clinch work. Her brash trash talk, once a marketing asset, began to feel repetitive, and her confidence bordered on hubris. The stage was set for a reckoning. The fall, Rousey versus Holm. In November 2015, Rousey faced Holm at UFC 193 in Melbourne, Australia. Holm, a former world boxing champion with a 9-0 MMA record, was a different breed of challenger. Her striking pedigree and disciplined footwork posed a unique threat, one that Rousey underestimated. Leading up to the fight, Rousey exuded confidence, praising Holm's structured approach but asserting her own superiority. "I'm more prepared than she is," she declared, predicting a showcase of her untapped potential. The fight was a disaster for Rousey. From the opening bell, Holm's movement and precision nullified Rousey's aggression. She kept her distance, peppering Rousey with jabs and counterstrikes while avoiding the clinch. Rousey, visibly frustrated, chased Holm recklessly, expending energy and leaving herself open. Barely a minute into the second round, Holm landed a devastating high kick to Rousey's head, knocking her out cold. The arena fell silent, then erupted in shock. The invincible Ronda Rousey had been defeated. The physical toll was significant. Rousey required stitches for a split lip and was rushed to the hospital. But the emotional impact was far worse. In the medical room, she sat in a corner, grappling with an existential crisis. "What am I if I'm not this?" she later recalled. "I felt like nothing." Her identity, so intertwined with her undefeated record, crumbled. The loss exposed vulnerabilities she hadn't anticipated, and the public's reaction was merciless. Fans who once worshipped her turned critical, and the media dissected her every move. The higher she had soared, the harder she fell. The final stand, Rousey versus Amanda Nunes. It took Rousey over a year to return to the octagon, determined to reclaim her title and silence her doubters. She faced Amanda Nunes at UFC 207 on December 30th, 2016. Nunes, a ferocious Brazilian striker, was the new bantamweight champion and a formidable opponent. Rousey, still haunted by her loss to Holm, insisted she was focused solely on winning. "All I care about is reclaiming my title," she said, dismissing concerns about her mental state. The fight was over in 48 seconds. Nunes overwhelmed Rousey with a barrage of punches, landing clean shots that left her staggering. The referee stopped the bout as Rousey, unable to defend herself, absorbed blow after blow. The loss was more than a defeat. It was a confirmation that Rousey's era had ended. The high kick from Holm had broken more than her body. It had shattered her confidence. The disdain of former fans and the pressure to reclaim her throne proved too much. Rousey's spirit, once unbreakable, was in pieces. A new chapter, Rousey's legacy. In the aftermath of her second loss, Rousey faced a difficult choice. Her mother, Maria DeMars, urged her to retire, citing her youth and myriad opportunities outside the cage. Who want to see their child get hurt? DeMars said. Rousey, now married and contemplating a family, agreed. She stepped away from MMA, turning to professional wrestling with WWE, philanthropy, and personal pursuits. In 2018, she was inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame, a testament to her indelible impact on the sport. Ronda Rousey was never the most technically proficient fighter, but her legacy transcends statistics. She was a pioneer who forced the UFC to embrace women's MMA, paving the way for stars like Nunes, Shevchenko, and Zhang Weili. Her dominance, charisma, and unrelenting drive made her a global icon, inspiring countless women to pursue combat sports. Yet, her story is also a cautionary tale about the perils of fame and the evolution of a sport that waits for no one. Rousey's journey, from a judo prodigy to a UFC superstar to a humbled legend, reflects the highs and lows of chasing greatness. Her victories were monumental, her losses devastating, but her impact is eternal. As she once said, her personal legacy was to be the greatest fighter to have ever lived. While opinions on that claim vary, one truth is undeniable. Ronda Rousey changed the game forever. What do you think of Rousey's legacy? Share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for more MMA stories. And let's aim for 5,000 likes to unlock a full documentary on her career. Until next time, keep fighting the good fight.